right? That's a big thing that we all sometimes have to hear
Mm.
in different aspects. How can we ever be a good spouse or a good friend or a good parent if we're not told what we need? She told him. Yeah, I did see it. I saw you do a little.
I mean, it's probably.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Folklore and Flourish. You're here with Jane and Mark. And today is February 8th. We are in week 2 of February. So we're going to do a little recap in our intro today. So the month of February is in our winter month. So it is our final winter month before we head into the earth reawakening. It is the month of sacred bonds and the beloved in the binder. So we're working all with our inner selves, our shadow work. And this month is all about the beloved in the binder. Who are we as lovers? Who are we as someone who loves? So both sides of that coin. Week 1 was the awakening of love, the very exciting early stages where it's going to make it or it won't. And today starts week 2, love tested. So now we are in the difficult parts. There were some difficult parts already in week 1, but now we're specifically identifying those. There are obstacles in every relationship. That's how we know whether it is real or not, I think. 100% in my perspective. But our topic today is the obstacle, and our theme is that love meets resistance. So our topic today is the obstacle with love meeting resistance. Our 4 stories come from Greek, Persian, Celtic, and Thai folklore today. So these are really exciting stories, and we'll see you right after these. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to honor the cultures behind the stories we are about to explore. The tales shared here come from many peoples, lands, and traditions. I do not change these stories to fit modern expectations or to align with today's social standards. Instead, I present them as they were told, sometimes beautiful, sometimes harsh, sometimes challenging. We are not here to judge the past, but to understand it, to listen, to learn, and to honor the ancestors who carried these stories forward. We also share stories from various religious traditions. These are presented in their historical and spiritual context, with respect for their beliefs that they represent. Every culture deserves respect, context, and acknowledgement, and this space is dedicated to doing exactly that. Story 1. Orpheus, Eurydice, love that confronts the limit. In Greek tradition, love is not protected from loss. It is tested by it. The story of Orpheus and Eurydice is not a tale of failure caused by weakness alone. It is a meditation on the boundary between devotion and human limitation. Love, in this myth, meets an obstacle it cannot fully overcome: time, death, and the weight of looking too soon. Orpheus is born with a gift unlike any other. His music is not merely beautiful, it is ordering. When he plays the lyre, trees bend towards him. Rivers slow, stones soften. His song aligns the world into harmony. This gift comes from his parentage, for he is often said to be the son of Calliope, the muse of epic poetry. Eurydice is a nymph of the forest, bound to the living world. Their love is not described as dramatic at first. It is tender, mutual, and rooted in shared presence. When they marry, it appears that harmony has found its answer. Then, Eurydice dies. In most tellings, she is bitten by a serpent while fleeing unwanted pursuit. Her death is sudden, senseless, and undeserved. Greek myth does not soften this moment. Love does not prevent catastrophe. Devotion does not shield the beloved. Orpheus refuses to accept the finality of this loss. He descends into the underworld, the realm of Hades, something no living mortal has ever dared. He does not go armed. He does not go demanding justice. He goes singing. His music reaches places untouched by mercy. Cerberus, the three-headed hound, lies down. The tormented souls pause their suffering. Even Persephone, queen of the dead, weeps. Hades listens. Moved by the purity of Orpheus's devotion, the gods offer a condition. Eurydice may follow Orpheus back to the living world, but he must not look back at her until they have fully crossed the threshold. If he turns too soon, she will be lost forever. The obstacle is not distance, it is trust. The journey upward is silent. Orpheus hears no footsteps. He feels no breath behind him. Doubt presses in. Has he been deceived? Is Eurydice truly there, or has hope made him foolish? Just before reaching the surface, Orpheus turns. Eurydice is there, and then she is gone. Greek myth does not excuse Orpheus. It does not condemn him either. It recognizes something painfully human. Love sharpens under difficulty, but it also reveals the limits of mortal endurance. Orpheus does not fail because he lacks devotion. He fails because he loves within a body that fears emptiness. After the loss, Orpheus cannot return to the world unchanged. He rejects future companionship. His music becomes mourning. In some tellings, he is eventually torn apart by Maenads, frenzied followers of Dionysus, unable to bear his refusal of life's successes. Yet even in death, Orpheus's song continues. In the underworld, he and Eurydice are reunited at last, not as lovers reaching forward, but as souls no longer bound by time. Their union is quiet. No condition remains. This myth teaches that obstacles do not always exist to be conquered. Some exist to define the edge of what love can do within mortal limits. Orpheus confronts death itself, and though he nearly succeeds, the lesson is not triumph. It is humility. Love meets resistance not to prove weakness, but to reveal truth. Some losses cannot be undone. Some thresholds cannot be crossed twice. Love sharpens not because it always wins, but because it risks everything, knowing it may not. The obstacle in this story is not death. It is the moment between hope and certainty. Story 2. Khosrow and Shireen, love tested by delay and devotion. In Persian tradition, love is not measured by speed. It is measured by perseverance through delay. The romance of Khosrow and Shireen is one of the most beloved love stories of Persian literature, preserved most famously in the 12th century poem by Nizami Ghazvi. Unlike tales of instant union, this story unfolds slowly, shaped by obstacles that test not only devotion, but maturity, restraint, and responsibility. Khosrow is a prince of the Sasanian Empire, born into privilege, ambition, and expectation. He is charismatic, impulsive, and gifted, yet not yet formed by hardship. Shireen, by contrast, is introduced as composed, intelligent, and self-possessed. She is an Armenian princess, independent in spirit, capable of governing her own estate, and unwilling to surrender herself lightly. Their love begins not with possession, but with longing. Khosrow hears of Shireen's beauty and virtue long before he meets her. She hears of his brilliance and royal bearing through reputation alone. Each forms an image of the other shaped by desire and imagination. And when they finally set out to meet, fate intervenes. They miss one another, again and again. When Khosrow arrives at Shireen's land, she is already departed. When Shireen reaches the place Khosrow has described, he is gone. Their love exists first in absence, sharpened by delay rather than diminished by it. This is the first obstacle. In Persian thought, longing is not weakness, it is refinement. Khosrow's life soon fractures. Political upheaval forces him into exile. His throne is taken, his power stripped. For the first time, he must confront love without authority to enforce it. He sends word to Shireen, promising reunion once his kingdom is restored. Shireen refuses, not because she does not love him, but because she understands something Khosrow does not yet know. Love cannot be sustained on promise alone. She demands that Khosrow prove himself not as a prince, but as a man shaped by responsibility. Her refusal becomes a second obstacle. Years pass. Khosrow regains his throne through patience, alliance, and growth. He returns not as an impulsive youth who first desires Shireen, but as a ruler tempered by loss. Yet even then, union is delayed. Another rival appears. Farid, a devoted sculptor whose love for Shireen is absolute, selfless, and tragic. Farid's devotion becomes a mirror held up to Khosrow's own. He labors endlessly, carving through mountains at Shireen's request, proving that love can endure hardship without expectation of reward. Farhad represents the third obstacle. Khosrow must confront jealousy, insecurity, and the question of worthiness. When Farhad dies through deception, the cost of rivalry becomes painfully clear. Love, sharpened by difficulty, can illuminate truth, but it can also wound deeply when misused. Only after his long procession of loss, waiting, and transformation do Khosrow and Shireen finally unite. Their marriage is not triumphant spectacle. It is earned. By the time Shireen accepts Khosrow, both have been altered by resistance. Khosrow has learned restraint and accountability. Shireen has preserved her integrity without bitterness. Their union is not the end of longing, but its resolution into commitment. Persian tradition does not allow the story to rest in comfort. Later betrayals and political consequences follow, reminding listeners that love sharpened by difficulty must be continually upheld. This is not a fairy tale of reward. It is a meditation of confinement. Khosrow and Shireen teach that obstacles are not punishments. They are instruments. Love delayed becomes love clarified. Resistance strips away illusion, revealing whether devotion can survive without immediacy. In this tradition, love does not conquer by force. It endures by patience. The obstacle is not the beloved absence. Story 3. Tristan and Isolde, love bound by fate and tested by loyalty. In Celtic tradition, love is not always chosen freely. Sometimes it arrives entangled with fate, duty, and consequence. The legend of Tristan and Isolde is one of the most enduring love stories of the Celtic world, preserved through medieval romances but rooted in far older oral tradition. It is a tale not of simple romance, but of love that collides with loyalty, honor, and the cost of divided allegiance. Tristan is a noble warrior of Cornwall, nephew and loyal knight to King Mark. From a young age, Tristan is shaped by service. He is brave, skilled in combat, gifted in music, and deeply bound by oath. His identity is defined by what he owes to others. Isolde is a princess of Ireland, raised in a world of healing knowledge and magic. She is intelligent, fierce, and strong-willed. Trained by her mother in herbal lore and the old ways, she is not a passive figure in this story, but a woman who understands both love and consequence. Their meeting is not born of desire, but of duty. Tristan is sent to Ireland to escort Isolde back to Cornwall, where she is to marry King Mark. The marriage is political, meant to secure peace between lands long divided by bloodshed. Tristan's role is clear: protect Isolde, honor his king, fulfill his oath. But fate intervenes. On a journey across the sea, Tristan and Isolde drink a potion meant for Isolde and King Mark. This draught is not simple spell of attraction. In Celtic storytelling, such potions bind souls, weaving destinies together beyond conscious choice. Once consumed, the bond is absolute. Their love ignites instantly, not gently, not conveniently, It is overwhelming, consuming, and impossible to undo. This is the first obstacle, love that arrives without consent. Unlike many romantic tales, Tristan and Isolde do not celebrate their bond. They recognize it as dangerous. Tristan knows his loyalty to King Mark has been shattered. Isolde knows her future marriage is now shadowed by betrayal. Yet the bond does not release them. In Celtic worldview, fate is not easily escaped. Isolde marries King Mark as planned, becoming Queen of Cornwall. Tristan remains at court, trapped between devotion to his king and devotion to his beloved. Every glance becomes a risk. Every meeting carries consequence. Love must now survive secrecy, restraint, and constant vigilance. This is the second obstacle, love confined by honor. Their relationship unfolds in stolen moments and careful distance, nor indifferent. They suffer. Tristan often chooses exile rather than endanger Isolde. Isolde bears the weight of queenship while loving another in silence. Love here is not indulgence, it is endurance. Eventually, suspicion grows. King Mark, though often portrayed as gentle and just, senses the truth. The court becomes a place of tension, where loyalty is watched and missteps are punished. Tristan is forced into exile multiple times, wandering foreign lands, wounded both in body and spirit. In one version of the tale, Tristan marries another woman, Isolde of the White Hands, attempting to escape the bond that defines him. But this marriage is hollow. His heart remains bound elsewhere. Distance cannot sever what fate has woven. This becomes a third obstacle, the impossibility of replacement. Tristan is eventually mortally wounded, poisoned by a blade in battle. Knowing that only Isolde of Ireland possesses the knowledge to heal him, he sends for her. A signal is arranged. If their ship returns with white sails, she is aboard. If black, she is not. The sails are white, but tragedy intervenes. Through jealousy or despair, the message is altered. Tristan is told the sails are black, believing Isolde has not come. He surrenders to death. When Isolde arrives moments later, she finds him lifeless. Overcome by grief, she collapses beside him and dies as well. In some tellings, vines grow from their graves, intertwining endlessly. In Celtic tradition, this is not merely romantic imagery. It is symbolic truth. Love that meets resistance does not always survive the world intact, but it leaves marks that cannot be erased. Tristan and Isolde teach that love sharpened by difficulty reveals both beauty and cost. Their bond is powerful, but it exists within a web of oaths, kingdoms, and moral consequence. The obstacle is not society alone, it is the collision between personal truth and communal responsibility. This story does not ask whether the love is right, it asks what love demands. Sometimes love deepens through resistance, sometimes it breaks everything it touches, and sometimes the sharpening is the story itself. Story 4. Nong Nok, love that refuses to release. In Thai tradition, love does not always end when life does. The story of Nong Nok and her husband Mok is one of the most well-known and enduring legends in Thailand. It is a tale told not to frighten, but to warn, to grieve, and to examine the power of devotion when it collides with reality itself. Mok is a young man from the village of Pra Kanong, near what is now modern Bangkok. He is conscripted into military service, leaving behind his pregnant wife, Nong Nok. Their separation is not chosen, it is imposed by duty. From the beginning, this love is tested by distance. Nong Nok remains in the village, awaiting Mok's return. She carries their child alone. In some versions of the tale, complications arise during childbirth. In others, illness follows. What remains constant is this truth. Nong Nok and her child die while Mok is away. Mok does not know. This is the first obstacle. Love divided by absence and ignorance. When Mok returns from war, he finds Nong Nok waiting for him. She welcomes him home. Their house stands. The village appears unchanged. To Mok, life resumes seamlessly. He notices nothing amiss, but the villagers do. They see things Mok does not. Nong Nok's arm stretches unnaturally to retrieve fallen objects. Her presence is cold. Her movements defy human limits. The child beside her does not breathe. The villagers know the truth. Nong Nok is no longer living. She has become a Pi, a spirit bound to the human world by unfinished attachment. Her love has anchored her beyond death. This is the second obstacle, love that refuses to accept loss. The villagers try to warn Mok. Each attempt fails. Some are silenced by fear. Others flee the village altogether. Mok remains devoted, dismissing whispers as gossip. His love blinds him, but not foolishly. In Thai storytelling, Mok is not mocked. He is mourned. Eventually, Mok witnesses the truth for himself. In one of the most famous moments of the legend, Nong Nok drops a lime while cooking. Her arm elongates impossibly to retrieve it from beneath the house. Mok sees. The illusion shatters. Realization does not end love. It deepens the terror. Mok flees the house and seeks refuge in a nearby temple. In Thai belief, temples serve as places of spiritual protection, grounded in Buddhist practice and communal safety. The monks shelter Mok, understanding that Nong Nok's spirit cannot cross sacred boundaries. But Nong Nok does not release him. Her grief is vast. Her love is undiminished. She follows him to the temple, crying out, mourning, raging. The sound of her sorrow becomes legend itself. This is the third obstacle, love that has outlived its form. The revered monk, often identified as Somdet To, intervenes. Through ritual, prayer, and compassion rather than violence, he confronts Nong Nok's spirit. He does not curse her, he does not destroy her. He listens. Nong Nok's suffering is acknowledged, her love is named. Only then is her spirit released. In some tellings, her remains are properly buried. In others, her bones are transformed into sacred relics to prevent further haunting. Mok survives, but he is not restored. This story does not conclude with reunion or romantic triumph. It ends with separation that must be accepted for balance to return. Love here is not denied its truth. It is honored and then guided toward release. In Thai cultural understanding, this distinction matters deeply. Nong Nok is not portrayed as evil. She is tragic. Her haunting is not punishment, but consequence. Her love becomes dangerous only because it resists the natural order. This is what sharpens love against resistance. The obstacle is not opposition from others. It is the refusal to let go when holding on causes harm. In many retellings, villagers continue to honor Nong Nok. Shrines are built, offerings are made. She becomes a protector spirit rather than a threat. Love is not erased, it is transformed. Nong Nok teaches that devotion, when untempered by acceptance, can imprison both the lover and the beloved. Love must eventually choose whether it will preserve life or consume it. This story asks a difficult question. When does love become attachment? And who is harmed when we refuse to release what no longer belongs to the living? Hey everybody, welcome back to Folklore and Flourish. You're here with Jane and Mark over at Blue Box 29. Today is February 8th, The Obstacle. We're starting off week 2, Love Tested, with our theme of love meets resistance. The lesson for today is that love sharpens against difficulty. The daily thread is that across these traditions, love is not broken by resistance. It is shaped by it. Orpheus descends into the underworld and learns that trust must outlast fear. Khosrow waits through exile and delay until devotion matures into responsibility. Tristan endures separation and danger, proving love does not retreat when tested. Nong Nok clings beyond death, revealing that love must eventually release what it cannot keep. Each story shows that obstacles do not appear to deny love, but to refine it. Resistance exposes whether love seeks possession or truth. Love deepens when difficulty is faced honestly rather than avoided. The obstacle asks one question only. Will love harden into attachment or sharpen into wisdom? Story 1. Greek Greek mythology does not promise that devotion guarantees restoration. The story of Orpheus and Eurydice teaches that love sharpens against difficulty by revealing the limits of human trust and endurance. Loss does not negate love, it defines its cost. This felt like the flip side of who's leaving Sodom and Gomorrah in the biblical story. Doesn't his wife turn around and turn into like salt or
Yes.
something?
Yes. He's like, hey, don't turn around.
That's all they were told was don't turn around.
And she couldn't help it. She heard the crying or the whatever, and then she had to. Now, is
So,
that like is that play off of original sin where, Eve ate the apple or whatever?
or is it just maybe it is that and the simple fact that we are human and it humanizes us
To
because
look.
it shows that we're limited. We are incapable of an wavering trust to things we can't see. I think that's what it was being told, but you can't really see them.
Mm,
So if I turn around, will they, like, if there's no one here to watch me? And, but it is hard too. It is scary to trust. Neither of those stories either were the kind of trust where they were leaving somewhere good based
right.
on how those places were described. Not my own opinion, but based on how they're described, right?
Right.
So neither of them were leaving anywhere great, either of those stories. But this one, they are reunited in the underworld, not as who they were, but who their souls now are,
Yeah.
free from any ties to anything else. That's pretty cool. They did want to love on this realm though, but their love didn't pass the test.
No.
And he suffered that consequence
Yeah.
and
To
then
do that.
waited for her to like hold her again, you
Hmm.
know? He wouldn't be going down to the underworld if he like to be with her if he had someone else.
Right. And then right at the end.
Yeah.
Um,
Was that because they was that something they knew was gonna happen? Was that a foretold conclusion?
I bet you.
Because it feels like it. To be human is to
But then again, that could have been like, to me, like a soul contract type of thing. Like, I'm signing up for this to go down. And then now we get to look at that as a story and hear it and really embrace that and almost utilize that within our life. That this life is all you get. So the ones that you decide to have near to you, don't do it for any other reason, but they make you happy and you see love within them,
Mhm.
and it doesn't matter who it is, but the people around you should make you full of love for no matter whatever the reason is.
And not doubting and turning back and like wondering, but just living in
Yeah, the moment of,
Mhm.
okay, it's one step after the other. Don't just trust.
And
But
it kind of feels a little bit going to that old idea. I mean, I like it, but the man taking control
mhm,
in the relationship. And if you can't lead, he couldn't lead her.
no.
He couldn't lead her with confidence. And that might be the ultimate test.
Yeah,
Is as
this
a
could be
man,
a,
as a partner, can you lead her?
or whoever your
Silent
partner
when you
is,
can't hear her? Yeah.
Yeah.
If your partner needs to be led, can you
Mhm.
do it? And just like keep going, hoping that they're following your lead.
And that's a good way to say that, is lead by example, and not with great speeches, but hey, this is what I'm doing and this is why I'm doing it. And who were we talking about earlier? We were talking about some people earlier that's what they're doing. No matter what, at the end of the day, they're doing what is right and what makes
Oh,
them
yeah, that
feel right.
girl I messaged.
Mhm. Like, no matter what, at the end of the day, I'm choosing what I believe is right.
I keep seeing like those people that continuously stand for those things. And you start to realize the pattern in people, the ones who do post the things that you're connecting with and the different energy that you want to be
Mhm.
and the things that just interest you. And
Right.
you start to realize that, at least I do, I realize that 10 years after graduating, I almost have none of the interests I had.
Yeah. I'm a totally different person from 10 years ago, 5
The
years
only
ago.
thing I really enjoy still, I enjoy sports, but I'm not competitive.
Yeah.
I think that went away a long time ago. I would rather read and be by myself. I just grow into a different person, but then you start to catch on to the things you like and the patterns that you have. All right, the story two, Khosrow and Shireen. This is the important note is that Persian love epics often portray delay as essential rather than cruel. In the story of Khosrow and Shireen, resistance refines devotion, transforming desire into responsibility. Love sharpens not by immediate fulfillment, but by the patience required to become worthy of union. This is the one where he's refused several times until he's ready.
Mhm.
And he doesn't even know that he's not ready. So he's looking for her, looking for her. They keep missing each other. And then he loses everything and comes to her, and she doesn't want him to come. It has nothing to do with the um like station that he's in or lack thereof. You're coming to me with no responsibilities. How
Mhm.
does that make me feel? What am I supposed to do? And as a woman, I guess I definitely can't speak for the Persian Iranian culture, but just for myself, I feel like I wouldn't want to follow somebody who only wanted me when they had nothing left. And it's like, it's not that I don't love you or I don't believe that you don't want me or that you do want me, but have some responsibility. Like, show me that I can follow you. Show me that
Mhm.
you can lead me. Show me that you can protect me and take care of me, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And that's a big thing, especially when women were not allowed to work, when it was 100% on the man.
Yeah, so, like, what is she gonna choose? Something like, that's choosing nothing.
Right.
That's choosing, yeah, maybe love, like, but you're living on the street, and then to her at that time, that wasn't what.
Because they kept missing each other.
Yeah, for a reason. There
Then
was
you
a
found
purpose.
me when you had nothing. So you must have tried again. And that was the time you succeeded.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean that it's not sincere. You don't feel it.
Right.
But you aren't the man that either of us need you to be yet.
Yeah, try a
Because
little bit
she
harder.
wasn't running around with anyone else.
Right. She's waiting.
The rival came and he was there, but at the end of the day, she meant what she said to him. He earned it. Just like it said, their marriage wasn't a triumphant spectacle. It's earned.
Yeah.
And that's why I really enjoy the idea of really small, intimate weddings,
Mm,
like the allurement of elopement, because it doesn't need to be a grand spectacle. It's
I
about
agree.
you, me, and God in my life. That's
Yeah.
what it is. And it's earned. So yeah, I would love to see like close family and friends, but on like your wedding, wouldn't you rather just spend the whole time with the one you earned it with, that love with? The one that earned you and the one that you earned? That's how I like it.
That's a beautiful way to look at it and wouldn't hurt my feelings.
This one is
But that
just,
being
he
said,
didn't conquer it by force. He didn't take her or say, okay, wait for me. He also trusted too. I love you for a reason. Okay. You may be, and that's what's sometimes hard is I don't, I don't think that it's the wrong time ever.
never is.
I think that it's the wrong person at the right time. I've been
To
with a lot
keep
of
you.
wrong people, and that's not necessarily what happens here, but this was the right person at the wrong time,
Mm,
their wrong time. This is something that I'm not just making it by with somebody. I'm going to wait for my somebody
Mhm.
because I know his potential. That's something too we talked about in the first week of February. Being a partner that pushes
Mm.
your partner to their potential. Not what you think their potential is, but what they show as their potential.
Mhm.
You know, what they might be hiding that you've seen, but they've only really shown little pieces.
Right.
Not, oh, I think you should go do this, even though you have no interest in it. You see your vision, now live it, right? That's a big thing that we all sometimes have to hear
Mm.
in different aspects. How can we ever be a good spouse or a good friend or a good parent if we're not told what we need? She told him. And by telling him, she gave him the opportunity to be that person.
Right.
And he did.
She allowed him to grow into that.
And he
And I
came
think
back.
she had that faith that he's going to.
Mhm.
He'll show me, and then we'll be there. And that's pretty awesome
Mhm.
that she didn't have to nag him to do it. He's like, "All right, bet."
And it wasn't, come back to me one more time, like they'd strike you out.
Mhm.
This is what you need. This is what you need.
Right.
You need
Like, that helps
responsibility.
him.
Yeah.
Like, that's the beautiful part, is it's not just for her in these stories, and it can be misconstrued that way with modern times, but the way these stories are written, it's not with that false, that God,
False
what's
hope or anything?
no. Like, when someone just wants it for that security, they only want it
Oh
for
no, the
the right?
the
So
stories
it's
that we
not
pulled here, they will only be like shallow loves or false loves
mm,
if it's serving a purpose. False
right,
partners. That's not this. And I love that January we worked all about our inner self, and just what you said, this right here, the very last line is, it is the self. So, oh, sorry, last two lines. The obstacle is not the beloved's absence, it is the self that must be reshaped before union can occur.
right. And that's a big thing, and it gets said a lot. I never understood the importance of it until I started on my healing journey.
Well, I don't think that's necessarily true. And if you don't, I don't mean to be disrespectful,
Mm,
but you said the other day, hey, I always take a break before I jump in a relationship. And
right,
I self assess. That's exactly what it's saying. You reshaped yourself for that next stage.
right. But
You weren't ready,
I wasn't ready or fixed,
but you weren't
either
ready for yourself
on
yet.
any of them, right. But they gave me what I needed to have
Well,
in order to lead me to where I'm at today.
the first part I really think is important is that we don't need to be fixed. We
Right.
need to be reshaped. And that's only if we are still needing growth,
Mhm.
right? Are still wanting that growth. Because sometimes it's, I have to deal with the serious
Right.
trauma versus other times it's just, no, this is what I want to do more.
Mm.
Like, I just want to read more,
Yeah.
big or small. It could be me growing my mental state versus me stabilizing my emotional,
Yeah.
and it can be hard, but it's not always fair to come at our partner with everything that's wrong. There are some times where I think I just want to whine about this to Mark. Like, I just want to get it off my chest. But then, and those are those times where you don't hear from me throughout the day
Mm.
because I'm reflecting to myself and I'm like, this is
And I don't pressure it.
my problem and I need to deal with it because I don't want to take it out on you.
Well, and that's one thing that I've appreciated about myself, and I've saw that I've grown, because that used to bug me. The silence used to, I didn't like it. It didn't feel good. And then now I'm just like, "Oh, that was just a me thing."
We
Or
both
it
compromised
was
there. I think that is one of the first times where compromise feel like we both met a really positive, healthy place.
Mhm.
I used to not like talking to people at all. I mean, really. My partners in life, yeah, I would text them, but there came a certain point where I just kind of like, I don't want to reply. Like, I'm not constantly waiting for my phone to go off. And I told you that early on, and I really did struggle replying right away. I don't know if that's my own, that probably was my own. I don't want to get attached to anything.
Right.
And the more that I want it, the more that I like am used to it, the harder it'll be. And I I've definitely gotten better. Yeah, sometimes I get upset and I don't want to reply, but I make myself and I'll just tell you. Because there are times where I can be, yeah, I'm upset about this, but I'm doing better. But there are others where I'm like, ooh, what I was about to send is not okay because you did nothing wrong to me that day. Yeah, I'm upset with something else. So I'm going to take it out on you. And that's not fair.
No, that's probably the worst thing I believe in a relationship that we could bring to the table is getting mad about something and then taking it out on the person that we love the most and use them as a punching bag. Like that, I won't stand for that part anymore. And I was not just victim, but also the person doing that. I don't know that we've all done it, but Lord knows I have.
I think that there genuinely are people, I'm not one of them. I think that there genuinely are people, though, that are that kind and considerate,
Yeah.
that they just keep finding the wrong one. But
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with them. It's just that they're so wholesome.
And
I
they
mean,
get
some of my
taken
closest
advantage of.
friends, yeah, in the past, I was like, I do not understand how those are the people that couldn't find someone,
Yeah.
and none of them are like, single anymore. But I don't know. I just like that too. It's just different personalities, though, too. Some people like someone that has a little bit sharper edges. They want someone that's willing to go into battle with. I need someone that can be that, but a lot of people, when they lived that growing up, those are the people that really lean on those kind-hearted individuals that are more patient and understanding, that do take that punching bag and start helping them heal until it's no longer like that. Not like physically punching bag,
No,
but
I
someone that's
understood.
working through their stuff. Yeah, I don't believe that there's any reason anybody should stay with a partner. I don't care what gender, sex you are. I don't think anyone should stay with someone that physically
No,
hurts them.
no, because it's never that part's never okay.
It doesn't matter who you are and it doesn't matter why. This third one, so that one was with King Mark. Yeah, I did see it. I saw you do a little,
I mean, it's probably real life.
just every time you heard it. It's fine. So the Celtic love story often resists tidy moral resolution. In Tristan and Isolde, love is portrayed as sacred yet destructive when bound against duty. Resistance does not weaken love, but exposes its full consequence. The story endures not because it offers comfort, but because it speaks honestly about the cost of divided loyalty. I think that sometimes you should just walk away before there's even a situation. There are some lines that shouldn't be crossed, and I really don't think that he was loyal to the king if he put himself in the situation that he put himself in.
Yeah.
Whether he knew that potion had it or not, why was he drinking with his future wife?
Right.
Toasting, celebrating. That's like intimate one-on-one. And so I kind of saw this as they put themselves in the way to suffer. They thought that love was suffering. They not thought, they lived as if love was suffering. And then, at the very end, it would only be her. And someone says, no, she's gone. So he lets go. And then she shows up and it's gone. Very Romeo and Juliet-y.
Yeah.
Just that whole I guess there are a lot where they're lied to about the
Right. Yeah.
condition
Because
of
we had another
themselves. That
story.
Japanese, was it
No,
Japanese?
no, 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 no. Aztec, actually, I believe.
Oh,
We just heard it just the other day,
was it the
right?
mountain and volcano? I remember that
Yes.
one. I just
Yeah,
can't
because
remember
he
what
carried
else.
it up because
He went
she
off.
was told
Sorry.
he went off to battle. The dad promised, okay, yeah, if you can go win, come back, you can have my daughter's hand, and he had to do all that stuff. Somebody said, oh no, he died. He got back and he wasn't obviously dead.
Do
And
you
yeah.
think that there's a common theme of we don't hear about the people that said that to them, what happened to them? We want to. We want there to be
But
some
why
sort of
do we want
justice.
to?
Because that's what it is. We want that justice. Like, how dare you?
But is
But
that
that's
God
because
making it so we don't get it?
no, I think that's because that's a human nature thing. Sometimes we say things when we really don't know, and then we walk away never knowing what that information did to someone. I mean,
Ooh,
how
I
many
like that
times we've
spin.
talked about that? How many times do we go, wow, this person made a huge impact on me, or this person was positive in my life, and they never knew? Or the
Right.
very opposite.
Yeah.
People think that about us too,
Right.
and we may never,
So
ever
many
know.
people could either think I'm either one or the other too, because I heard that I forget what I was watching or listening to, but somebody said, you are a hero in one person's story, but you are also a villain in somebody else's.
And then
You are the
others, you're
one that got
nothing.
away. Yeah, you're the one that just walked past the nice smiling face that held the door.
You're that someone that they will never know who you are, but your face or your words were like immense. I feel like everyone
Has one of those
has one of those.
or
And
more.
I mean, you used to like seek them out when you're younger, sitting down at a bar and sitting with someone that's totally different than you. Like
Yeah.
how I told you, I sat with those people
Yeah.
at the local one, and I had no idea that they were the owners.
Right.
And I was talking with them for like an hour or two, just getting to know them.
Mm-hmm.
I talked with someone, this was probably about a month into us dating. I was talking to someone at the Prospector when I was waiting for like the football game and stuff. You didn't invite me over. So the day you did, but I was sitting there talking to someone, had no idea who he was. The very end of the conversation, we introduced ourselves, shared our names, and he's from the same area in Montana my dad was
Oh, I
from.
remember you telling me this story.
And his
Yes.
sister and mom, or sister, niece, whatever, they live in town and they're like my dad's best friends. So it was just like, but be able to share that
Yeah.
and have a conversation with someone and then to, oh, we do know each other.
Yeah.
That was something that was great to know. But if we didn't, we could have parted ways and I could have been talking to my dad about this guy that reminded me so much of him. And he could have been talking about this girl from Ely who has like parents from
Yeah.
Montana and Reno,
Right. Just some funny,
just
odd
like a
little.
fun little interaction
Yeah.
where, but yeah, this is the resistance could have been avoided. I think, let's say that grand scheme of things, it was innocent and it was like, we did it. Like, whew, let's have a drink together.
Yeah.
You're about to go to your husband and maybe she's excited. And then they take that and they're bound. And so it's like, that's another thing that sucks. Her excitement's gone. Whether she was excited or not, both of them could have been immensely proud. They were both about to serve King Mark like exactly what he wanted.
Yeah.
And it could have been just a simple mistake. And then they unsatisfied. And it doesn't tell you what happens after. It just says sometimes love deepens and sometimes it breaks everything.
Yeah.
And that's what this story felt like. There is no peace. And you could say, yeah, well, but they met themselves in the afterlife. We'll never know. That kind of aspect too. Okay. Story 4. This one, I think this one is just, it's really hard.
I'm going to read what it's.
No, I just mean like in general.
No, I know, but I can't remember what it is.
Okay, so this is the one where she dies and he comes back
Yeah.
and she's
A
possessed.
ghost. It's still her, but yeah, it's the bad part. It's the
Mhm.
part that didn't, that thought he was gone, that didn't get to have him anymore. So that's the part that got stuck, that yuck. But then when he came back, she tried to.
Yeah, illness follows because the other people can see it too.
Yeah, they can see that she's a ghost and that he's under a spell.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't really, I guess, yeah, it just says right at the end there, but I didn't.
But that he's able to take her body and go bury it later. It does
So
say
it's
that.
just a ghost that actually it's not like
It's not trying to,
whatever.
yeah, no, and it could
I
be.
think we're thinking of the same thing. We just probably don't know the verbiage. I at least don't. So it's obviously a type of ghost, like you said. But
I
it's just not the
believe.
spooky, like,
Yeah, no, and
Casper ghost
it's
that we think.
and who's to say that he maybe nobody can see it but him.
No, they all said they could.
Okay.
They could all see. That's why they were warning him, because they know it's a spirit.
Yeah,
They
it's the
said that
grief
they're dead
spirit, yeah.
inside and it's her,
Yeah,
but
and,
it's
like,
not
especially
her.
the baby,
Mhm. Yeah, the
can breathe.
So, yeah, so it says in Thai folklore, ghosts are not inherently evil. They are manifestations of unresolved emotion. Nong Nok endures because it frames love as powerful, sincere, and dangerous when it resists reality. The obstacle is not death itself, but the inability to accept impermanence. Love deepens when it honors trust rather than defies it.
Yeah, and this
I
is the one where
just
I was like, "She's a banshee."
Yeah, because she ends up letting go after she is listened to, after she's honored for her grief. I think that's beautiful because, yeah, she's gone, but that piece of her, like you said, is still there.
Yeah, there's that piece.
And everyone's just warning him, that's not her, that's not her. She's dead inside. Yes, I am. Like that's how I would think I would feel is yes, I am. But
Help.
look at what I could have had, I guess it's gone. And that baby's gone. But this is also felt like that court case I told you the other day. Like she was in that relationship for 5 years.
It was on TV, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And she yeah, I don't remember what it is, but whatever. She was with
Oh,
him
where
for
the
5
guy, they
years.
went to some counselor.
Yeah, but not that part, but she paid all of the couples therapy. He
Yeah.
didn't help at all for 6 sessions right away. And I'm just saying right away because I saw that in statistics. Both people should have a foot in the door, meaning both people usually pay. Okay, when you go to couples therapy. I saw
Mhm.
that throughout too. But because they had been together for 5 years, she felt obligated. They weren't married. They didn't want marriage, but I've already been here for 5 years. I think that's kind of what it just said is it can be dangerous when love resists reality. It's not love when you're resisting reality. And that doesn't mean that it wasn't. Like we've talked about how I'm not going to be mad at you for the fact that you've been in love before me.
Right.
Just like I wouldn't accept it if you were upset that I had fallen in love before you.
Right.
If we were both like 18, yeah, okay, whatever. I get it. Maybe we haven't. But at where we're at in life,
Mhm.
a lot of my growth was through other people.
Yeah.
And I forgot where I was going with this.
I don't know, but people are put in our lives, I believe, to push us to that growth one way or another.
But we have to be willing to let it go. And
Mhm.
sometimes it is ugly. I've definitely been someone that hung on years too long and I forced someone and I manipulated them. I've been that kind of person. That's not what happened here by
Mhm.
any means. This was grief. Of course, he didn't want to come home and accept his wife and newborn were dead.
Yeah.
He made it. They should have been alive. They weren't out fighting. The village should have been there, and they probably were, but when illness hits. And so it's like that show, The World's Deadliest. Those Union soldiers on the Mississippi River were just released from prisoners of war about to be home.
And one
Just
guy's
little
decision,
decisions, and all of
like,
them were
"No,
gone.
I need to make this extra money." And it just shows you where unfortunate that our heart lies with that greed and not the safety of.
And we don't talk about that a whole bunch. Maybe we do, and I'm not seeing it, but I've told you before, I'm pretty big. I really wish we lived in a place where I could support veterans more.
Yeah.
Serve, like people that are actually
Mhm.
serving. Because I do believe a lot of the time, my personal opinion, I've seen a lot of people come back and they're put on the shelf Kind of like a lot of people say, their mental health is thrown to the side.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion. Could also just be people I've met. But when you serve and you come home and something happened to your family, that's happened too, where people retaliate on military spouses or whatever it may be. You know, you see shows,
Yeah.
accidents happen and they're gone. And you were fighting for your country.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even imagine. Like, those are the most valuable things. So that's who you were fighting for. And you made it home.
And they're gone.
And we as a community failed to protect them. That's how I take it. And so that side, are we looking at those people? Are we helping them? And then the other side of how much do we help the spouses that they don't come back? And the things that happen when we're out doing, whether we think it's right or not, we're out doing what we need to get done. And I did it. Those Union soldiers, we did it. We survived.
Made it through it.
Barely. And the ugliest thing that's ever happened on American soil, you know, everything to do with that, right? Those are the ugliest things that ever happened besides the Native American stuff.
Yeah.
But they made it because, yeah, they were prisoners of war on American soil, like not treated great on either side. But how many of them were probably holding on to, gosh, I hope that they're there. I hope that they're there. And that sense of relief to just be thrown in the river, to be caught on fire. It's just, how many people were caught on fire during that war? It was not. It's just, that's what this reminded me of is they're all warning him of the dangers. But who sat there and was like, held him, you know? Who forced him? Sometimes you have to force someone into reality when it's like this and it's dangerous. Imagine if he had never seen that. He could have harmed himself. He could have harmed others. He could have harmed her memory, which have made him, I couldn't live with myself. That's what you did to your partner, is that you were gone and I destroyed your memory of me and everyone's memory of you. That would be heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I'm not going to even pretend to understand people's grief when they lose their partner. I think we've talked about that before. Yeah, and we saw that video. Or I told you about that video I saw. I saw this video on Facebook. I'll try to find it and maybe even comment. I'll tag it in the comments if I don't comment on there. But she was doing this video with her husband. And she was talking about how your parents will die. Your kids will move out. Your siblings will separate. Your ideals will shift because they do. Your priorities will shift. Your pain and suffering will be different. And then all of a sudden, you know only one person more than anyone else, and it's your partner. And she's just talking about that is the person that's with you through it all, and you're with them. I've told you this before. To be witnessed was my biggest goal. Just wanted someone to say, hey, I like you. I want to witness your life. Come witness mine. That's what I wanted here, you know.
Can I get a what witness?
Where was I going with this? What was I saying?
Can a witness?
Yeah, but what was I saying before that? Oh, but she was saying that we as human beings, you know, we got to choose our partner right, because they are ultimately the person we will be around the most. And I never really understood the concept of marrying your best friend before. I realized, I mean, obviously never lived with someone, but I don't think I could have lived with any of my exes. They were not my best friends. We were good friends, but I definitely didn't share everything with them. So just got to keep that in mind too, I guess. So our reflection question we're going to think of today is, what fights my heart? So what fights my heart? What does my heart fight against? And our activity today is to name one relationship barrier you face and write it down plainly without explaining or justifying it. So name one relationship barrier you face and write it down plainly. What's a relationship barrier I face? It doesn't need to be shared, but it could be,
Mhm.
wherever you're at, wherever we're at, we can
Yeah,
discuss
like
that.
what if it helps, like whatever you see your barrier as could possibly help, right? And it might not. So don't force it. But if you feel like it is something, I'm talking to the person that's watching on the other end of the screen. Don't force it if you don't have to, because
And
that's just
notice a
silly.
barrier versus an annoyance versus
Mm,
something that's just an inconvenience versus something that's a deal breaker.
yeah.
Um, my example in my head was, a barrier I had for me, you know, something that was kind of inconvenient was coming here but still having an apartment and paying for it. After a certain amount of time, it wasn't like I was just coming over a couple days a week. I was literally here,
Yeah.
like with an overnight bag for several months. And it was, yeah,
Yeah.
it was an inconvenience, but it's at a certain point, that was a barrier I told you. I wouldn't keep up with that for long term. That was a barrier I had. But then we have others that are like, how you said, there are things I won't stand for. But barriers are things we ourselves are trying to get over. So that's where I had to go back. Like I told you, and I had to go, oh, that wasn't a barrier. That was just an inconvenience,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And now we're having real barriers, commitment stuff, future things. I won't deal with this, or I have to look at this for myself and kind of grow in that. So what's a barrier that we face in ourselves? I'm not gonna write down, and I'm saying this to you, I'm not gonna write down, oh, a barrier I face is that Mark does this. This is me. When Mark does this, I get this way. And I'm specifically thinking just towards myself. But our final thing is that as you're doing that and thinking about what fights my heart, remember that love deepens when resistance is faced honestly rather than avoided. He could have known that whole time she was gone and just been in denial. At least there's something here for
Yeah.
a little bit of time. Just need some time. That's real. And sometimes I've seen stories, testimonies where they come out of that time and they've come so far forward that they can never step back into relationships. They're in a whole life with themselves
Yeah.
and their faith that they just continue to go with
Mm-hmm.
themselves. That doesn't mean no one else was good enough.
Right.
That just means they face what love was and they'll
Mm-hmm.
face it again,
Yep.
but they have no intention that will not satisfy that anymore in this
Yeah.
field. And that's where I'm saying they don't put themselves in situations where they would be compromised.
Yeah.
People that really truly want to live for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
they won't allow themselves to be compromised. And that's beautiful too. That's beautiful too. However people deal with their love and what they want to live with, live without, that's up to them. And so that's all that we have for you today, February 8th, the obstacle. Our theme today was that love meets resistance. So just identifying, is it something we can get over? Is it something I'm willing to get over? And is it something I should have to get over? Because there are some things I would never ask you to change, and I would never change about myself to please you as a partner. Because the very things that I would change who you love, and it would change who I am. And I don't want to be like that. So we're just getting through our second week of Love Tested. Really remember, I'm really trying to remember that this is a healing for us. It's raw. We don't know what we're doing. We're struggling with tech. So then we get into this and we're a little irritated. And then we're like, oh, love's being tested. So now we were just trying to control our tempers towards each other
Right.
over technology stuff. And then we get to sit here and listen to these stories, and it's kind of gives different perspective. Yeah, these are way dramatic, but some people live these stories. These people live these lives, these loves. And I'm saying that because tomorrow is really hard. Tomorrow is the betrayal. So we want to take a breath and prepare. Tomorrow, we're going to face it. We're going to face those betrayals that hurt us. And we really are going to kind of talk about that. So just a disclaimer for tomorrow, we are talking about some
Mm.
things that We may share from our previous relationships. We may share from our current relationships that still bother us. So get a good night's sleep. Name those things. Identify that now with your partner so that we can keep going. It gets a lot easier when we meet that honestly. So that's all you have from Jane and Mark in Blue Box 29, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Love you guys. See you later.
Thank you for walking this journey with me today. These stories are more than folklore. They are the heartbeat of our world building, the inspiration behind our characters, and the soul of the Legends Reborn Chronicles. By exploring these tales, we honor the past, ignite the present, and breathe life into the legends we're creating together. To see more of Mark and I, as well as additional scenes, discussions, and healing, check the links below that will lead you to our various social media platforms. Please also feel free to ask any questions or leave any comments in the episode below or in future episodes to come. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, may your path be guided by wonder, curiosity, and the magic of the stories that came before us. Blessings, and I'll see you on our next folklore journey.